So up first, we are joined in studio by the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office this Monday morning, and they're here to discuss the importance behind serving your community while also sharing those very crucial tips for anyone interested in becoming an officer. We're joined today by Sergeant Tony Stoudemire of the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office, and they are hiring. They're hiring for lots of different roles. And Sergeant, you're here because you are a correctional officer with the Sheriff's Office. But first, tell us what really is the job of a correctional officer and why is the work so important?
So being a correctional officer, it's our job, it's our responsibility, quite literally our job description, to maintain institutional security. And ensure that all of the inmates that we house in our facility are available and present for court after they're removed from the street for whatever crime they're alleged to have committed. They get brought to us, and then we have to ensure that they are housed properly. And you know, it's a very important role in the law enforcement kind of realm or environment, I guess you could call it. Because, you know, our community, we expect the police to protect and serve, right? And they protect us by removing dangerous criminals off the street. And then they get brought to us, right? And then when they come to the jail, we don't have to worry about them anymore, and that's our benefit as a community. So it's our responsibility to ensure that the public is protected from individuals like that, and we house them in that way.
And so what many people probably don't realize, at least I didn't, along with the deputies, the corrections, the jail is also run by that Sangamon County Sheriff. And explain a little bit more of the depth of how far the Sheriff's Office really goes in this community.
So the Sheriff's Office, I mean, they do a fantastic job, all things considered. I mean, it's a challenging job for all law enforcement communities, even our, you know, rural departments, things like that. It's difficult, you know, and being the capital city of the state of Illinois, the Sheriff's Office is kind of in the spotlight. You know, being able to provide not only deputies for calls for service on the street and also for community outreach. The jail is a very important part, but it's often a part that gets overlooked simply because we are behind the scenes. But there's a valuable, it's a very valuable part of the law enforcement kind of community. In addition to that, of course, security, right? There's 3 divisions within the Sheriff's Office, so it's important to make sure that everybody gets their day in the sun, right? And it's my goal here today to make sure everybody understands and knows exactly what they're getting into, hopefully when they apply.
And so, Sergeant, to go a little bit more into the skills of what it takes to be a correctional officer and things along those lines, what are some of those skills? Not only the skills that are learned when you go to school to become this, but the moral and the values and just those skills as a human being that you really need for this job.
Yeah, that's very important. Like you just touched on it, going to school. When you are employed by the Sheriff's Office, you go through a pretty rigorous background investigation to determine that you are, in fact, a valuable candidate for us. And that's there for a good reason. And after you get appointed, or after you get hired, rather, you'll go to the Macon County Law Enforcement Training Center, which I know you've been to. I love it out there. I teach out there as well. I'm an instructor. So anybody that goes through the academy is going to see a lot of me. And so it's important and valuable. Obviously, you'll learn a lot of skills out there, a lot of law-related information regarding how to do the job in a lawful manner, but also learning the human factor, right? Learning the human factor, how a human is going to respond to an officer. And the academy is designed to take somebody that's never done this job before and put them in the best position to succeed. Now, everything's done behind the scenes, right? Book, PowerPoint, et cetera, but there is de-escalation training, there's virtual training, which I think you've probably seen as well. But obviously that's all going to come after, you know, you learn from the environment that you were brought up in. And that's so important and so very valuable, not to try to reinvent the wheel. We're not trying to create a new person. We're trying to take somebody with a good moral compass and a high standard, holding a high standard of themselves for success, and then accompany that with training at the academy to then hopefully create the best possible officer for our facility.
Yeah, I don't think people realize just how important that communication aspect, and specifically communication, really is in this job. Yeah,
communication, verbal de-escalation, being empathetic. You know, everybody thinks, I say generally, but people think that, you know, you put on the uniform, you put on the badge, and you turn into a superhero. But what's important is that we are all human underneath the badge. And when we take the uniform off, we go home to our families just like everybody else. And being able to take those skills, that empathy that we have to have sometimes, because we're encountering people on their worst day, generally speaking. And people aren't supposed to be good at being in jail. So when they have questions, they're anxious, they are nervous about their future, obviously. And some people handle that stress in a different way. So it's important for us to be able to absorb that and redirect it and turn it into a positive message to make sure that they understand that, hey, this is, this is a temporary, don't make a permanent decision based on temporary emotion. I love saying that to people because a lot of times people think their back's against the wall. And it's our job to make sure that they understand that this is a part of the process and that they'll get through it and that there's, light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak.
So, Sergeant, I want to focus a little bit more on the job responsibilities of being a correctional officer. Can you walk us through what that is like? What is a typical day like, and what can you expect to see?
Yeah, the daily responsibilities as a correctional officer vary distinctly. No 2 days are going to be the same. There are individual assignments that officers have that kind of fulfill the booking process as well as maintaining security in the actual cell blocks where the inmates are housed. So obviously your responsibilities are going to vary, but it's important that obviously that your knowledge and your skill level is all-encompassing. When you go through our FTO program, you'll be put into a very good place regarding the overwhelming knowledge that you're going to have in order to be good at this job. People are going to ask you questions that you may not know, but it's going to be imperative that you figure it out because generally speaking, these guys and girls need to know these answers. So, being able to field these questions and field the responsibilities of the day-to-day job there's a lot that goes on, but it is organized, but sort of in a chaotic nature.
And
it's just a lot going on, a lot of moving parts.
Like you said, every day is different.
Exactly.
No 2 days is the same.
Exactly. No 2 days are the same. Obviously, if you are working during day shift, Monday through Friday, it's very, very busy. But if you're working third shift, maybe intake isn't so bad, but upstairs in the cell blocks, your responsibilities start to challenge you a little bit more, and second shift kind of gets both of them. So it's important, to make sure that you obviously know what you're getting when you sign on, but obviously our FTO program is designed to help you through that difficult learning curve. It's important to know that obviously if you want to go to patrol, that's entirely fine. Some people, that's their dream. Right? My grandfather was a police officer, and to be quite honest with you, I didn't even know I wanted this job until I had it.
Yeah.
I applied. I was at a time in life I didn't really know what I wanted, and this job found me, so to speak. And like everything in my life, if I do things one way, I do it that way every time. And I held myself to a high standard and wanted to make sure I could fulfill every goal and obligation that I could do within the sheriff's office. And I urge whoever comes in and applies to have that kind of same mindset, right? To take advantage of all the options that are available to you.
And so before we wrap up, Sergeant, I do want to ask, what are a few words that you have for individuals who are thinking of applying, and maybe this is something they've been scared to do or they're ready to really take the plunge. What do you have to say to them?
I think it's about trying to change the culture of the law enforcement landscape, being in the public but out of the public at the same time. We represent the sheriff's office, and it's important that a person that comes in is willing to accept the challenge to be a part of the change that they want to see.
I love that.
If if this is something that you've been apprehensive about doing, right? If you've wanted to get into law enforcement, but you didn't know how, if you didn't think you were cut out for it, there's absolutely nothing wrong with trying. Not to say that there aren't challenges that are going to await you, but with most things in life, challenges generally breed success. And if you fight through those challenges and you come through, right, you'll find yourself in a very rewarding position. And that's something that I feel like I've found myself in, dealing with certain challenges. And obviously life never stops, right?
Never.
Work is always going to be there, but life is always going to be there. So it's important to make sure that you have the strong shoulders, because you're going to be fielding that responsibility. And obviously you've got a great team around you that's going to help you along the way.
Well, if you are interested in joining the Sangamon County Sheriff's Office, you can visit sangamoncounty-sheriff.com. You can head over there. You can find all the different careers from deputies to correctional officers to so many more. The amount of departments within the department of the Sangamon County Sheriff is incredible. So if you have ever thought about joining, now is your time. Sergeant, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And this has been a great conversation.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and be sure to watch more segments from Marketplace on News Channel 20.